All right, let's dive in. We're talking all about agile principles today,
Sounds good.
but with a bit of a twist, right? We're not just talking about how they work in software development, but how these principles can actually be applied in a world that's becoming more and more shaped by AI. And you shared this fascinating video presentation with us, and it really digs deep into this idea, especially focusing on the Agile Manifesto and its 12 principles.
Yeah, and what I find so interesting is that these principles, they were developed years ago, but they're still so relevant today, even with all the rapid technological advancements we're seeing. It's pretty incredible.
It really is. It's almost like they were ahead of their time. And what I think is so exciting is that these principles, they're not just for tech people anymore, whether you're leading an agile transformation or working on AI projects, or even if you're just curious about the future of work in general. Understanding these principles can give you a serious edge. It's almost like a roadmap for navigating this new world we're entering.
I like that, a roadmap. Think of it as a toolkit for thriving in a future where AI is going to play a larger and larger role.
Exactly. So one, unpack this toolkit, shall we? And I think the best place to start is with the foundation, the four core values of the Agile Manifesto. Now, just as a quick refresher for our listeners, these values are individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working products and services over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, and responding to change over following a plan. Okay, pretty straightforward, right? But how do these values actually play out in a world where AI is such a driving force?
Well, let's take a look at the first value there, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. In a world where AI is automating more and more tasks, it's easy to kind of fall into this trap of thinking that technology is the solution to everything. But Agile, it reminds us that, that human element, it's still crucial.
Absolutely. So like AI can give us these incredible tools, but it's up to us, the humans, to use them effectively.
Exactly. AI can automate tasks, sure, but it can't replace human creativity, problem solving. And that adaptability, especially in the AI field, things are constantly changing. We need teams that can collaborate, make decisions, and learn from each other.
So it's not about like letting the machines take over completely. It's about finding that balance between human intelligence and artificial intelligence.
Exactly. And this focus on individuals and interactions. It also connects to another Agile value, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. In this fast-paced world of AI where everything's constantly in flux, locking yourself into rigid contracts, it can be a recipe for disaster. Agile encourages us to build strong relationships with our customers, to work collaboratively with them, and to be flexible enough to adapt to their needs as they evolve.
Which makes total sense when you consider that AI is all about continuous learning and improvement. If you're stuck with a fixed plan, you might miss out on opportunities to incorporate new insights and feedback.
Right, and this leads us to another important Agile value, responding to change over following a plan. You see, the traditional waterfall approach, it emphasizes sticking to a predetermined plan, no matter what happens. But in this AI-driven world, that kind of rigidity, it can be really problematic.
So it's like waterfall is trying to sail a ship in a calm lake,
Hmm.
while agile is navigating a speedboat through like whitewater rapids.
That is a fantastic analogy. AI is all about disruption, it's about rapid change, so we need to be able to adjust course quickly, experiment, learn from those mistakes, and that's exactly what Agile helps us to do.
It's about embracing the uncertainty, seeing it as an opportunity rather than a threat.
Exactly. Now, let's not forget the last Agile value, working products and services over comprehensive documentation. This might sound a bit counterintuitive, but it's about prioritizing tangible results over endless planning and documentation. And this aligns perfectly with AI, which is all about rapid prototyping, iterative development.
So it's not about creating a perfect blueprint up front. It's about building something that works, getting it out there, and then refining it based on the feedback you get.
Exactly. And AI can really help us speed up this process. With AI tools, we can automate tasks, analyze data, and generate insights that allow us to build and iterate much faster than we could before.
It's almost like AI is the fuel, and Agile is the engine that helps us harness that power and turn it into something valuable.
I like that. And this brings us to the 12 Agile principles. These principles offer us some practical guidance on how to actually embody these four core values in our everyday work.
So we've got our guiding values, and now these principles are like the step-by-step instructions to get us there. What's the first principle on this journey?
The first principle is all about customer satisfaction and how we can achieve that through continuous delivery. It's about delivering those valuable products and services frequently. And we want to do this in the shortest possible time frame.
Which seems like a perfect fit for AI development, wouldn't you say? AI projects, they often involve a lot of experimentation, data analysis, feedback loops. You're not building a finished product all at once. It's more about continuously evolving and improving your solution, right?
Absolutely. And the speaker in the video, they make a really interesting point. They actually recommend that if teams are struggling to deliver every 2 weeks, they should try delivering every week.
Whoa, every week. That sounds intense. Why would shortening the delivery time frame be beneficial, especially when you're already dealing with the complexities of AI?
It might seem counterintuitive, but this approach can actually help teams streamline their processes, focus on what's truly essential, and ultimately deliver value more consistently.
So it's like instead of trying to climb a mountain in one go, you're taking smaller, more frequent steps, which allows you to adjust to the terrain more effectively.
Precisely. And this rapid iteration, it becomes even more crucial in the AI world, where you constantly need to be learning and adapting to new data and insights.
Okay, so moving on to principle 2, which is all about welcoming changing requirements. This seems pretty different from that traditional waterfall approach where you try to figure out all the project requirements up front.
Right, and this principle becomes even more critical with the rapid pace of AI. We've got to remember that AI is a change accelerator. It's constantly disrupting industries, creating these new possibilities. Being able to embrace change and adapt to it, it's essential for success in this environment.
It's like that old saying, the only constant is change, but AI is like hitting the fast forward button on that saying.
I love that. Imagine you're navigating a river in a kayak. Waterfall is like trying to paddle in a straight line, ignoring the currents and obstacles. Agile is like being aware of that changing flow, adjusting your paddling, maneuvering around those obstacles. And in the world of AI, those currents are moving really fast.
Yeah, I could see that. It really highlights how important flexibility and responsiveness are. All right, on to principle 3, which builds on this whole idea of embracing change. Frequent delivery.
Right, this principle encourages teams to deliver working products or services frequently, with a preference for shorter timescales like weeks or months, rather than quarters or years.
And why are those large-scale, infrequent deliveries so problematic, especially when we're talking about AI?
Because in AI, continuous learning and adaptation are so important. If you wait too long to release something, you miss out on valuable feedback and you risk falling behind. Plus, those infrequent large-scale releases, they can be incredibly disruptive to both your team and your customers.
So it's better to deliver a steady stream of updates rather than one massive release.
Exactly. And this brings up an interesting question. What happens when AI allows us to deliver new features and updates in hours or even minutes? Is Agile preparing us for that kind of speed? It's something to think about as we go deeper into this AI-powered future.
Wow, that is a mind-blowing thought. All right, let's wrap up this part of our deep dive with Principle 4, business and delivery teams working together.
This principle highlights how important it is for business people and delivery teams to collaborate daily, and that this collaboration should happen throughout the entire product or service lifecycle.
Which is a stark contrast to the siloed approach of waterfall, where you have different teams working in isolation, often with goals and expectations that don't quite align. But why is this close collaboration so beneficial in the world of AI?
Because AI projects require a deep understanding of both the technology and the business side of things. When those teams work closely together, they can share their knowledge, identify potential challenges early on, and make sure that the solutions they're building actually align with those business goals.
It's like you need both the technical expertise to build the AI and the business savvy to understand how it's going to be used and what value it will bring.
Exactly. And here's an interesting thought from the video. The speaker actually suggests that the lines between these roles might disappear entirely in the future.
Wait, really? What would that even look like?
Well, imagine business analysts using AI tools to define and implement solutions themselves. While developers become more involved in that strategic decision-making process, it's a fascinating possibility. But it also makes you wonder about how work will be structured and managed down the line.
That is definitely something to think about.
Yeah, it's been really fascinating, to see how these principles, they were initially designed for software development, but they have such broad applications today. It's pretty incredible.
It really is. It's like they've taken on this whole new life of their own. And they become even more relevant as AI changes industries and changes how we even think about work itself.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up our deep dive here, I think it's time to shift gears a bit. We've talked about the what of Agile, right? But now we need to talk about the so what. What does all of this mean for you, the listener? How can you use these principles as you navigate your own career and your own work in this increasingly AI-powered world?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's not just about understanding these principles. It's about seeing how you can actually use them to make a real difference in your own life.
Exactly. And the key takeaway here is that Agile, with its emphasis on flexibility, responsiveness, customer focus. It gives you a framework, not just for surviving, but for thriving in this new world. It's about being prepared to adapt, collaborate, and to deliver value continuously.
It's almost like if AI is the engine driving all this change, Agile is the steering wheel, it helps you keep control and stay on track.
I love that analogy. And, mastering these principles, it's less about like doing agile by the book and more about developing that agile mindset.
So it's not just about following rules, it's about a way of thinking, approaching your work in a way that embraces change, experimentation, continuous learning.
Exactly. It's about being comfortable with ambiguity, being okay with failing fast, learning from those failures, and being open to new ideas.
Those are qualities that will really help you thrive in an AI world, especially as things keep moving faster and faster.
And the great thing is, these principles, they're applicable no matter what industry you're in. Whether you're a developer, a marketer, a teacher, doesn't matter. Embracing an agile mindset can help you navigate this complex world.
Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave our listeners with a few key thoughts.
Go for it.
Remember that Agile isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. It's more like a set of principles that could be adapted to fit your own specific needs and context.
It's about finding what works for you and your team.
And don't be afraid to experiment. Try new things, The beauty of Agile is that it encourages you to learn and improve constantly.
Embrace change. Don't be afraid to fail. As long as you're learning, you're on the right path.
And finally, and this is important, remember that even in this AI-driven world, the human element is still vital.
It really is. Technology can help us do so much, but it can't replace things like creativity, ingenuity, and the ability to connect with other people.
So as you move forward, keep those Agile principles in mind. Embrace flexibility, collaborate with others, and focus on delivering real value. That's how you thrive in this world.
Well said. And for our listeners, if you want to dive deeper into all of this, we highly recommend checking out the video presentation that we discussed today. You can find the link in the show notes.
It's a fantastic resource, really thought-provoking, and might spark some new ideas for you.
You never know.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Until next time, keep learning, keep adapting, and keep thriving.